Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to VA Memorial Stadium here in Chillicothe, Ohio for what is Game 7 of the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament. Winner goes, winner take all at this point, Kevin. Winner of this game between Denison and Wooster will win the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament.
Promises to be a good one. Both teams raring to go. The sun is shining. A little cloudy, but there is sun peeking through. First time we've been able to say that all week here at VA Memorial Stadium, but the weather's held up, and we're able to get this whole thing in.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to this one. The two teams in the matchup here today for the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament. Denison University at 37-7 overall, ranked 16th in the country in the latest D3Baseball.com poll. And Wooster comes in at 26-11 as they are ranked number 15 in the latest D3Baseball.com national ranking. So we really got a big one set to go for this. Two senior pitchers going to be going at it. Brian Murray for Wooster, John Troll for Denison, and both pitchers have experienced their own ups and downs throughout the season, but have both found also levels of consistency throughout the year as well, Kevin.
Yes, both have played a variety of roles on the year for their respective teams. Both have multi-year starting experience. John Troll, this is going to be his second start of the year, 18th appearance overall. He started a game back on the Big Red spring trip back on March 21st. Allowed one run on 5 hits in his 8 innings of work. And for Worcester senior Brian Murray, no stranger to big games as Murray. This will be his 13th appearance overall on the year. 8th game started for the senior right-hander.
Definitely sets to be a good one for Wooster. This is a situation that they have been in before, looking for their 14th NCAC baseball crown under head coach Tim Petterini. And Denison looking for their first NCAC Tournament Championship in program history here today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's set to be a good one. We're going to take a quick break for the national anthem, and we'll be right back here from the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament Championship game. Well, it is time to play ball, ladies and gentlemen. The Denison Big Red make their way out to the field. Senior John Troll going to be on the hill for the Big Red. The rest of the field is going to go as follows for Denison. Behind the plate will be junior Brad Baldinger. At first, Will Crushena. At second, Anthony Ruggieri. At third, Brian McAuliffe. Playing shortstop will be number 11, Max Lawn. In left will be Vince Walker. In center, Cam Farron. And in right field, Ty Robinson with John Troll towing the rubber for the Big Red to start this one. A 3.35 ERA, 7-0 record, 17 appearances, only one start on the season, and has struck out 46 batters for a 240 opposing batting average. For the batting order for Wooster, here's Kevin.
Yeah, it's going to be Nick Strasbaugh starting it off for Wooster, who is the away team in this one. Scott's wearing their mustards with the white pants. Strasbaugh playing center today. He'll be followed by Jacob Sturzma, the shortstop. Dan Harwood, left field. Bats in the 3 spot. Second game started in the outfield for the Scots junior. Garrett Crum, the cleanup man, hits fourth and will play first. Then it'll be Chandler Dittman, the third baseman. Ben Gabor out in right field. And then the bottom third of the order is catcher Dan Gale, designated hitter Harrison Walls, and second baseman Tyler Chumita.
Yesterday's game, as most of you were probably watching, and if you weren't, it came down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. A sacrifice fly from Garrett Crum in the bottom of the 8th put Wooster up 3-2 entering the 9th. Then in the 9th, it seemed as if everything just kind of happened. And it was a leadoff walk to Will Crushena, then a single by Brian McAuliffe, and then all of a sudden, Brad Baldinger and what was Harry Whitworth Dukes at covering first base got into a collision. An error was called, and just like that, the tying run scored, and the Big Red ended up taking the 5-3 lead and the victory to move here today.
Yeah, Curt, you mentioned that collision. Harry Whitworth Dukes is not in today's starting lineup, so perhaps some lingering effects from that collision yesterday. For those of you who, I don't know why you would have missed yesterday's game, but should you maybe have missed yesterday's game, maybe you were at work, couldn't tune in, you want to go back and watch, especially the first couple innings of that one. So that was one of the top defensive games in Division III probably all year that you saw here yesterday in Chillicothe.
You want good baseball, you're about to get it again, in my opinion, between Denison and Wooster here in the championship game of the 2019 NCAC baseball tournament. That first pitch from John Troll hits the zone, strike one, against the leadoff batter and Nick Strasball. That one also just misses on the inside part of the plate for a 1-1 count on the junior center fielder.
Yeah, Strasbaugh has been key for the Scots this week. He flashed that arm out there yesterday when he was playing left field, threw out a runner at the plate as Denison at the time was looking to make it 2-0. And Jacob Sturzma homered to tie that one at the time at 1. Strasbaugh, 5 hits here in Chillicothe this week, 2 of those doubles. He's getting on base at a .467 clip here at VA Memorial Stadium.
Troll comes back on that one in the bottom part of the zone with a strike to even the count at 2-2 on Strasball. We mentioned before, the prior 2 seasons, John Troll seeing a significant amount of time as a starter. This year, mostly as a middle reliever. The pitch swung on, high fly ball out of play. Only 1 start before today, but lately, John Troll has really been locked in for the Big Red. He relieved Danny Brackman in Game 2 of this tournament against Allegheny. Ended up being the pitcher to record to get the victory. Strasball with a looping shot over to third. Gloved by McAuliffe. The relay to first is in time for out number 1.
You mentioned John Troll really settling in. He pitched in the first game when these 2 teams met in the regular season, April 27th. Scots got to him for 6 runs and 2 1/3 innings pitched, but since then, Troll's really been on a roll. And his last 3 appearances in particular, he's 2-0 with a save, has pitched 13 1/3 innings during that time, and the most important thing, scoreless, and he's got 11 strikeouts to back that up as well during those 3 outings.
First pitch to Jake Sturzma will come across the plate for strike 1. 1 down here in the top of the first. Curt Ashcraft alongside Kevin Smith for this one. The delivery. Missing outside. Ball 1 evens the count at 1-1. 2019 NCAC Tournament Championship game. Game 7. Who doesn't love a good Game 7, Kevin?
Everybody loves a good Game 7.
That's right. That pitch swung on and belted out to right center. That'll drop for a base hit. We'll go back to the wall. Sturzman's going to round first and go to second.
Could go for 3
He's
here.
thinking for 3 on this one. No one, he's got a chance to get in. He's going to dive in head first. And unfortunately, that was really right between Robinson and Farron in right center. Went back to the wall. And Sturzma has the wheels, and he's returned second. He thought, why not third? And all of a sudden, that is a 1-out triple for Jake Sturzma.
I know Sturzma was thinking 3 all the way there. That one kicked off the wall a little awkwardly. Obviously, not too many parks in D3 have a wall, so that's a little bit of an adjustment, especially for those outfielders. And you saw Farron out there have a little difficulty picking it up, so there was really no chance to get Sturzma. But had Farron been able to get that without it skipping around off the wall out there, there may have been a chance for a play on the Scott Speedy shortstop, but he's able to get in there easily.
First pitch from Troll to Dan Harwood, swung on and missed the high heat for strike 1. And good start for Troll on one of the best hitters in this tournament. And Dan Harwood hitting .455 over 3 games, has 4 runs, a double, 5 hits, 3 runs batted in, and an .818 slugging percentage. That one also hits the zone for strike 2.
Yeah, Harwood's a very good 2-strike hitter. Mentioned earlier in the tournament, he usually tries to take one big swing. So his power numbers have been down, but the average is up, as we alluded to earlier in the week. And then after that, if he doesn't make contact there, he kind of shortens the swing up, takes what the pitcher gives him, tries to put the ball in play, and good things happen. We see Max Lawn is playing very close to the bag, and we saw Harwood try to attack that left side of the field all tournament long.
The 1-2. That's going to go in the dirt, almost hit Harwood on the ankle. That'll even the count up at 2-2 on Troll, or on Harwood from Troll. Two the count, runner on third, 1 out. Troll looks for his sign from Baldinger and comes set. The delivery, missing high. Makes it a full count on Harwood, and what started out 0-2, all of a sudden Harwood, with his batter's eye, was able to turn that into a full count. Still a little bit of a breeze, a little chilly outside, but a really beautiful day here in Chillicothe, Ohio. The payoff pitch swung on, fouled out of play. We'll continue to do it throughout the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. We just want to continue to give all the credit to everybody here with the Chillicothe Paints here at VA Memorial Stadium. All their hospitality, all their help all week long. The NCAC, Carrie Lahosky, all of her help, as well as Levi Rex, Shannon O'Brien, our main statistician in Jason Miller, the main book. Really appreciate it. And he is going to get Harwood looking for out number 2, first strikeout of the game.
That was a good pitch there, good spot. Troll's really attacking, hitting his spots early. Gets rewarded with the called third strike and the backwards K on the score sheet.
And that is a huge out for John Troll, especially with a runner in scoring position after the hit that after the triple that Jake Sturzma put up, and that brings up Garrett Crum.
Stealing home.
Trying to steal home right now, and they are going to say that he scored safely.
Balk.
A balk on John Troll is going to score Jake Sturzma from third. And wow, what a heads-up looking play by Jake Sturzma. And it looked like it caught John Troll off guard just enough, and here we are.
Yeah, Jacob Sturzma's speeds played a huge impact in this tournament. We saw him steal third in the tournament opener against Wabash, and then he got a great jump on a slow chopper to Wabash shortstop Eric Chavez, who had no choice but to go to first to make sure he got an out on the play. And now Sturzma just flat out took off for home, and Crum's going to get a good...
out to left center. Walker looking to get under it, makes the grab for out number 3. Damage done, though, as Jake Sturzma with a one-out triple, then turned it in, scored on a balk, and all of a sudden, it is a 1-0 game in favor of Wooster. It'll be the Big Red Bats in the bottom of the first when we return for the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament Championship. Bottom of the first, and it will be the Big Red at the plate. The Big Red batting order is as follows, ladies and gentlemen. Leading off, the shortstop, Max Lawn. Batting second, the designated hitter, Grady Payne. Batting third, the right fielder, Ty Robinson. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, Will Crushena. Batting fifth, the third baseman, Brian McAuliffe. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 22, Brad Baldinger. Batting seventh, left fielder, Vince Walker. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Cam Farron. And batting ninth for the Big Red is going to be number 2, Anthony Ruggieri.
And defensively, the Scots are going to go like this in the outfield, left to right. It's going to be Harwood, Strasbaugh, and Gabor. Infield, the sure-handed Chandler Dittman at third, Jacob Sturzma at short, Tyler Chimita at second, Garrett Crum at first, and the Scots battery is pitcher Brian Murray, catcher Dan Gale. For Murray, this is his first start since April 16th at Oberlin. That game he got the win. 6 innings, 2 runs on 7 hits, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. Since then, Murray's made... he started against Kenyon last week. 5 innings, 2 runs on 5 hits. His start prior to that was against Oberlin, and in between there, he made 3 relief appearances, did Murray.
0-1 quick count to the leadoff batter for the Big Red, Max Lawn. As I mentioned before, Lawn having a very great, really solid 2019 campaign, leading the NCAC in batting average. They're going to stay on that check swing. Lawn did not go through. Now a 1-1 count on the season. 437, 69 hits, which is tied for the team lead. Also, tied for the conference lead with Will Crushena. Lawn sends that one foul out of play, makes it a 1-2 count.
Yeah,
36 runs batted in and 16 doubles.
Through games played May 9th, Lawn was 7th in the country in average. That's the last national ranking posted by the NCAA. Also 9th in on-base percentage as of that stat ranking.
1-2 the count. Murray comes set. The pitch, missing outside, 2-2. Even though that missed outside, that is a good pitch selection by Brian Murray. When you're ahead in the count like that, you try to at least think of an opportunity to get the batter to chase. Murray comes set, gets a sign from Gale, the delivery. Swung on, laced it foul, right field side. We'll do it again at 2-2. Denison making their first appearance in a Game 7 of the NCAC tournament since 2008 when they played a triple header with Ohio Wesleyan.
Yeah, back then the tournament was a little different format. It was still 4 teams, but you had a 3-game best-of-3 semifinal series, and then a best-of-3 championship series. All 3 of those games were played on the same day. Denison saved off elimination, winning the middle one of those games 4-2 before Ohio Wesleyan went on to take that winner's take-all game 7-3.
Here's the 2-2 to Lon. He fouls that one off once again. Lon has totaled about 4 foul balls in this at-bat, making Murray work for it here with the leadoff batter. Murray 3-2 on the season for the Scots. Here's the 2-2. Missing outside, full count, now 3-2 on Lon. On deck, Grady Payne in the hole, Ty Robinson. Lon and Crushena only 3 hits away from tying Denison's single-season hits record, set by Adam Mandel. The payoff pitch from Murray. Swung on, fouled back behind the plate once again.
It's going to be the 10th pitch of the at-bat forthcoming, so Big Red hitters getting a lot of looks at what Brian Murray is bringing to the plate here today, as Lon really doing his job as the Big Red leadoff man.
Now you're in a position, if you're Murray, you don't want to throw it right dead center, but at the same time, you want to continue to throw strikes. Here's the 3-2. Right down Broadway and gets Lon looking for strikeout number 1 of the day for Brian Murray.
Yeah, Lon thought that one was a little bit low, as did Dan Harwood in the top of the inning, but that's definitely going to be a called strike all day long. So we've seen 2 run up down there, so we'll probably quickly see the hitters adjust their approaches a little bit when that pitch comes in there right at the hollow of that kneecap.
All comes with who you have behind home plate and what his strike zone is. And Clark Husky behind the plate at first is going to be Justin Penix. Joe Kimbrough, the second base umpire, and at third will be Ron Black. Pitch to Grady Payne, laced down the right field line, past the glove of Garrett Crum at first, and thrown in will be Gabor. So it will just be a 1-out single down that right field line for Grady Payne.
Gabor able to get to that one quickly. He's got good speed, the 6'5" frame out there in right field. Very good arm, above average arm for the Division III level. That's about the second or third time he's been able to get down that line and turn a double back into a single.
Really hard hit ball. If Crum would have made that play, that would have been spectacular. So runner on, and that will bring up Ty Robinson. Swung on and missed. Strike 1.
See if Mike Dean gets aggressive on the bases here. We saw Wooster get a little creative with a straight steal in the top of the first inning and wound up scoring the run on the balk call. Grady Payne is the Big Reds' top base stealer, and he's leading the NCAC.
Robinson hitting .308 in this tournament. Takes that pitch inside for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Has a pair of doubles, 4 hits, and 6 total bases with 3 walks, which is tied for second on the team here this week. Murray comes set. The 1-1.
Runner goes.
Swung on, grounded foul, first base side. You made a point to it, Kevin. The one thing Mike Deegan likes to do is be aggressive on the base paths, and right now, when you got arguably your best base stealer out there, you want to move him.
You saw the hit and run there. Obviously, Mike Deegan super aggressive, as you alluded to. Dan Gale did throw out a runner at a key time yesterday. He's throwing out about 50% of would-be base stealers on the season, so you may see a little more hit and run put on today versus straight stealing.
Murray comes set. The 1-2. Swung on, sends it out to right. This one's got a chance. It's going back, and
off
the wall. Gabor cannot get it. It's off the top of the wall. Robinson will go into second with a double. Payne will end up getting to third, and all of a sudden, 1 out, runners at second and third for Denison. A big shot from Ty Robinson, just about 2 feet away from going over that right field wall and putting the Big Red in front, but they'll stand for a double with Payne now at third.
Yes, that was well struck, hit off the wall nice and hard, so we could cure that one definitively. We thought one snuck out yesterday, but wound up off the wall, so nice thud there for us to confirm that today.
At least we've got some sun. That does change it a little bit. We can see when that happens. That brings up Will Crushena. The pitch. Missing low, ball 1. Crushena, as we've alluded to all year long, or all season long, is having quite the year. With 64 RBIs, which is now a single season school record. Came into the week second in the nation in RBIs.
He's still second as the national leaders up to 69, that being Penn State Harrisburg's.
Laced foul left field side, makes it a 1-2 count now on Crushena.
Travis Van Houten from Penn State Harrisburg is your national leader right now.
1-1 the count, pardon me. Still in striking distance to take that national lead. So now runners at second and third. 1 out. Murray looking to work out of a pickle. Here's the 1-1. That's right down Broadway for strike 2.
Yeah, Kiefer Murray's going to be hitting his locations all game long. Needs to be dialed in. Both teams going with an experienced senior here in Game 7. That was obviously the big question going in now that it was able to be extended out to a 3-day championship with the graduation conflicts eliminated. Do you bring somebody back on short rest, go to like a lawn relief, specialty type arm, and obviously both guys putting the ball in the hands of a trusted senior.
The big thing is these are pitchers, these are players and young men that have been there and done it before for their respected teams. They've been in this position. They've been to the NCAC tournament. You want to trust them to take the ball and go with it in the biggest situation. 2-2 on Crushena. Murray finds the one he likes and comes set. The 2-2. Swung on, sends it down the left field line for a base hit that'll go into the corner. Rounding third and coming home right behind Payne will be Ty Robinson, and the Big Red take a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the first with a 2-run double from Will Crushena as it's 2-1 in favor of Denison.
They got out on that one, kept it just fair into that corner, and there was no doubt about that Robinson was going to be able to score easily on that play, and it's 2-1 now.
Add 2 more RBIs to the total for Will Crushena, now with 66, now 68 on the season for the Big Red, and one behind the national leader. So that will bring up Brian McAuliffe. Takes that first pitch, grounds it right side, gloved by Chumita, throws to first in time, 2 down.
Yeah, Chumita really had to range for that one. He's playing back a bit, able to get to it easily. We saw him make a couple of just absolutely spectacular defensive plays yesterday. Robbed a pair of hits from Big Red hitters. One in the hole, kind of similar to that one, but obviously the one he made yesterday was a lot more sharply hit, and then he was able to range up the middle to grab a liner.
Definitely a couple of web gems that were just impressive beyond any sort of explanation. That brings up Brad Baldinger, catcher for the Big Red. That one will hit the bottom part of the zone on a breaking ball for strike 1. So both pitchers have allowed at least 1 run in the first inning. The pitch swung on, sends it foul out of play right field side. Now down in the count 0-2 is Baldinger. Baldinger on the season hitting .364 with 19 runs scored, 32 hits, and 23 runs batted in. The pitch swung on, out to right field. Gabor underneath it makes the grab for out number 3. We have played one here, and it is as advertised, ladies and gentlemen. 2-1 your score after 1 inning of action between Denison and Wooster in favor of the Big Red. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have second inning action for you here from Chillicothe. Top of the second, John Troll back toeing the rubber for the Big Red, and he will be responsible for the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Wooster. Leading off the inning will be Chandler Dittman, and to say that Dittman has had quite a week is an understatement, hitting .444 with 4 runs on 4 hits, 3 doubles, 4 runs batted in, and 10 total bases.
Also helped himself out when he was on the bump against Wabash in the opener of this tournament with a home run out to right field. And fine play, another web gem defensively as well in that one. All-around players, done it all for Tim Petterini during his career. He'll really be missed next year.
1-1 the count on Dittman. Here's the delivery. Swung on, high, fly ball, not too deep. Robinson underneath it in right. Actually, no, Farron underneath it in right center. And we'll make the grab. 1 down. One out here in the top of the second. One thing to mention to everyone, Denison is the home team in this game due to the being the away team in Game 6 of the tournament and forcing the Game 7. They get to be the home team in this tournament, even though they are the lower seed when it started.
Yeah, it's a little different than how the NCAA does their home and away designation at the NCAC tournament. The highest seed is the home team through Game 5. Game 6 is the team that's 2-0 is the home team, and then if there's a Game 7, the teams from Game 6 flip-flop home and away.
Gabor takes that pitch from Troll and sends it to right center for a base hit, so a one-out single for Ben Gabor will put a runner on for Tim Petterini's Fighting Scots. One out, runner on.
Then the home and away designations come NCAA time, get a little dicey, so it's one of those where you just want to enjoy and let everybody else figure out who's home and away rather than try to explain all the different things that can come into play for that.
That'll bring up the catcher, Dan Gale. Gale's really had a nice performance defensively this week for the Fighting Scots. Also hitting .333 in 3 games played with a pair of runs and a pair of runs batted in for the Fighting Scots.
And he had that really unique line when these two teams met for the first time this week. 4 plate appearances, 0 for 0. It's because he walked all 4 times.
That'll definitely help the batting average. Troll, the pitch. Missing low and outside. Ball 1. 1-1 the count on Dan Gale. As we mentioned yesterday, we've seen some really good catching performances in this tournament. The pitch swung on and missed. 1-2 now the count. Good cutting ball once it hit the plate from John Troll. Make it a 1-2 count. Dan Gale, Brad Baldinger, Tommy Cannon, Eric Lang really have seen some solid performances behind the dish for all 4 teams in this tournament. Troll, the 1-2, swung on, high fly ball, in play towards center. Farron comes in underneath it and will make the grab for out number 2. So pair of F8s in this inning.
That one was skied as everybody was spreading in. Hung up there really long, gave Farron enough time to track it down and get to it. This is going to be Harrison Walls now. He's DHing today. We mentioned earlier that collision at first base yesterday. Harry Whitwer-Dukes is not in today's starting lineup, so Harrison Walls gets the start at designated hitter.
That'll be something else to keep an eye on, the impact of not having a player of Whitwer-Dukes' status in the game. Just his ability to play, be so versatile for head coach Tim Petterini is just remarkable.
Yeah, you saw Whitwer-Dukes start the tournament at third base when Chandler Dittman was pitching. Played second base when these two teams met for the first of now 3 times this week. Then was out at center field before moving into second base yesterday.
Walls a high fly ball to right. Robinson underneath it, makes the grab. And that will retire the side. A single by Gabor put a runner on, but 3 flyouts, 2 to center and 1 to right, will send it to the bottom of the second with the Big Red Bats back at the plate. When we return, 2-1 your score. Denison in front of Wooster at the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament Championship. It'll be Brian Murray back on the hill for Wooster here in the bottom of the second inning. Vince Walker as well as Cam Farron and Anthony Ruggieri will be at the plate here in this inning for the Big Red. 2-1 the score in favor of Denison after 1.5 innings of play. Curt Ashcraft alongside Kevin Smith for this one. Walker sends that one out of play on that first pitch, which will go down as a strike 0-1 the count.
Bottom third of this Big Red lineup has been absolutely on fire this week for Denison. Mentioned Walker and Farron, the first two sticks up for Denison this inning. They're combined 13 for 26 this week. 6 runs batted in, 17 total bases between the two of them. They've also walked a combined 3 times as well. And they've been able to execute in small ball situations as well. With Farron, saw him have the single home run and then give himself up with the sacrifice bunt yesterday. Walker has a sac fly in this tournament.
Walker with a high fly ball to left. Underneath it is Harwood. He'll make the grab for out number 1. But you're absolutely right. You don't usually think about getting that type of production at the bottom third of your order, but that's what it's been, especially out of Farron and Walker. Those guys have really put the ball in play very well. And then Ruggieri's ability to put bunt singles down very regularly has been very valuable for head coach Mike Deegan.
Yeah, we've talked about these two teams neck and neck currently in the D3Baseball.com top 25 poll. I anticipate when the final poll of the regular season comes out, it should be pretty close to each other again. And if you want to be a top 25 team in Division III, you have to be able to get that top to bottom production out of your lineup. Every at-bat's important. Every player's important. And both Mike Deegan and Tim Petterini have full confidence in everybody, top to bottom, and even guys on their bench as well.
100%, and that's why these two teams really are so similar in their ability to put runs on the board and have the pitching to keep those leads intact. Here's the 0-1 to Cam Farron. They'll miss outside ball 1. Cam Farron has arguably had the best week of anybody in this tournament, hitting .538 with 2 runs scored on 7 hits, 3 runs batted in. That pitch will miss. And of those are RBIs, some big clutch hits, not only in yesterday's win over Wooster, but also the 5-4 win in Game 2 of the tournament over Allegheny. He had the game-winning RBI single that gave the Big Red the win in that one. Pitch will miss high and outside for ball 3. And only a freshman, the Indianapolis, Indiana native, having quite the week and putting himself in that conversation for tournament MVP.
Yes, most definitely with the MVP conversation. And in addition to that top-to-bottom production, Mike Deegan's had a lot of guys. You think Max Lawn, Farron at the plate here. It's a combination of reloading, and in order to do that, there has to be guys who are currently on the team who are able to slide into those key roles year in and year out, as well as an occasional freshman or two who's able to impact the team. You look, Denison program on the rise, having a historic season. That's kind of been Tim Petterini's blueprint to success here over his legendary 38 career with the Fighting Scots.
100%. And when you think about what the Big Red lost from last year's team, Jack Blanchard, Pearlie Provost, Player of the Year Tanner Johnson. Now there's a different guy wearing 8 in center field, and he's putting up a performance that is Tanner Johnson-esque this week. So Cam Farron with a 3-2 count digs in at the plate. Murray looks for his sign from Gale. Steps off.
Looks like Murray and Gale currently aren't on the same page, so we'll see what Murray comes up with here for this payoff pitch.
The delivery. Missing outside, ball 4, and that will put the speedy Cam Farron on first with 1 out. So a walk to Farron will put a runner on with 1 out. And that will bring up Anthony Ruggieri. Ruggieri's 154 batting average this week may not be what you're used to seeing, but his ability to bring runs in has been. He's had a couple of sac flies. He's had a couple of bunt singles. The whole point is getting him on base, and when you look at his his ability to get on, that has been what has been valuable to Mike Deegan. He'll dig in at the plate. Runner on, one out. The pitch. That will hit the zone for strike one, even it up at 1-1 on Anthony Ruggieri. Ruggieri's sophomore from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Really getting his first season of everyday starting time up the middle. And in general, swung on and missed on that breaking ball on the inside part of the plate from Brian Murray, makes it a 1-2 count. 2-1 your score. Denison in front of Wooster here in the bottom of the second in Chillicothe at the NCAC Baseball Tournament Championship game. Pitch missing way outside, and a big play by Gale. Throw to second will get over the glove of Sturzma, but Chumita's there to bring it in, and what could have been an extra bag.
Wild pitch on that one, as there was a late break by Farron out there. As that one looked like it was going to be way outside. Gale was able to save it from going to the backstop by lunging out for it. Kind of off balance, tried to make the play. That one almost got into center field, so Chumita with the great backup there, and Wooster already has activity going in the bullpen.
There could have been so much more go wrong with that for Wooster on that play. Gale's amazing play behind the dish, and then Chumita there saving that ball from going into the outfield with the speedy Farron on, could have easily made third. Murray the delivery. Swung on and missed. Strike three, and that will sit down Ruggieri. That's the second strikeout of the game for Brian Murray. 2 down, runner on second, and that'll bring us back to the top of the order as we flip the book for the Big Red, and Max Lon will dig in. Struck out looking in his last appearance. He's 0 for 1 in this game. So Lon digs in at the plate. Comes set. The pitch, breaking ball. A lot of movement on that one as it came and hit the zone. Strike one.
We've seen a lot of good first pitch curveballs from multiple pitchers throughout this tournament. Nobody wants to start any of these hitters off with the fastball for the most part, just because both teams have the offensive weapons to do some damage if you're up there looking for a first pitch fastball and a pitcher just so happens to miss his spot.
Murray comes set. The pitch swung on, sends it foul, and will just go out of play for Max Lon. And now 0-2 the count on the sophomore shortstop for the Big Red. Looks over to head coach Deegan, coaching third. Assistant coach Donson Dirth coaching first base for the Big Red. Lon digs back in. Murray looking to record the final out of the inning and leave it as a 1-run deficit for Wooster after 2. Murray gets the sign he likes and comes set. The 0-2. Swung on, just fouled. On a high inside pitch, Lon just got a piece of it.
That one caught the home plate umpire as that was way inside. Lon able to foul it off. Check swing on that. Caught the home plate umpire, Clark Husky, who appears to be okay.
Assistant coach Ryan Romick going out to check with home plate umpire Clark Husky. Make sure he's all set to go.
Flash the thumbs up so he's ready to get back into the thick of things here.
He has definitely been well seasoned this week. Had a lot of games. We've been pushed all the way to Game 7 of this, what was supposed to be a 2-day tournament, now a 3-day tournament. Still an 0-2 count on Max Lon. Murray's going to check second and come set. Here's the pitch. Swung on, grounded towards short. Going to be gloved. No, dropped by Sturzma. Sturzma's going to go to third. He knew that Farron was going to be there safely. but it's going to go down as a hit. That was a well-hit ball by Max Lawn, and it didn't look like Sturzman was going to be able to make that play anyway.
Right, he got over there, backhanded it, went in and out of the glove. It would have been a very tough throw. He was all the way in the hole, and I don't think he would have had a shot to get Lawn there with that great a distance and that speed that his counterpart has, who's now standing on first base.
Big opportunity now for Denison. A one-run lead, now runners at the corners early on in this one, bottom of the second. A chance to really take a substantial lead with Grady Payne at the plate and a couple of runners on. Murray, first pitch to Payne, will be low and inside for ball one.
Yeah, with Garrett Crum holding the runner on, he's going to be playing in front of the runner. We saw Payne have a shot down the right field line that just got over Crum his first time up that Gabor was able to cut off. But now with Crum playing in front of the bag, should that he had been playing there that first time up, he might have been able to grab that liner.
Pitch will catch the outside corner for strike one. 1-1 the count now on Grady Payne.
They're in the second inning. Denison really making Brian Murray make a lot of pitches. He's already at 45. 31 of those have been strikes. Obviously, now that we're at a 3-day tournament, both teams obviously a lot better position with the arms-wise than it was originally scheduled for a 2-day tournament.
Payne with a high fly ball to deep right. Gabor back, and it's over the wall. It's over the wall. That's a 3-run home run for Grady Payne, and just like that, 5-1 is your score as Payne will cash in on his 4th home run of the season, and that's a big stick and a big knock for the Big Red.
Yeah, that one just got over the wall. Gabor jumped, well struck. And Grady Payne taking advantage of that short porch here in right field. 325 down the line, well struck, able to cash in and put his Big Red team up 4 here in the bottom of the second.
5-1 the lead for Denison over Wooster. 5 runs on 5 hits for the Big Red, 1 run on 2 hits for Wooster here in the bottom of the second with 2 out. Brings up Ty Robinson. Opposite field high fly ball to left, Harwood underneath it, and will record the 3rd and final out of the inning. But the damage was done by Denison. Grady Payne comes up big, runners on, and a home run over the right field wall, just over the Wheat Ridge Mini Barn sign. Down the right field line, 325. So a big hit by Grady Payne, and just like that, it's a 5-1 lead entering the 3rd. Top of the 3rd, and it'll be the Big Red back in the field. John Troll back on the hill, and he will now face the 9-1-2 hitters for Wooster, and leading off the inning will be Tyler Chumita, who made his name well known yesterday with a couple of web gems and already a couple of defensive plays today, and looking to turn in at the plate. So Troll, who got into a little bit of trouble in the first, but has really settled down since then. That first pitch to Chumita inside, ball 1.
The infield is pulled around. Lawn not quite on the right side of the infield, but you've seen Major League Baseball now. It seems like almost every team shifts everybody, and you've started to see that perhaps trickle down a little bit more into the collegiate level now as well.
2-0 the count on Chumita. This one also missing outside from Troll. 3-0 the count. Troll rocks, kicks, and deals the pitch. And they're going to say that one hit the top part of the zone. 3-1 now. Still a hitter's count at this point for Tyler Chumita.
This is a key at bat for the Scots. Now down 4 as we head into the 3rd inning in the top of the order, waiting on deck.
Comes back now with back-to-back strikes. 3-2 the count. We are all full between Troll and Chumita. Troll comes set, the delivery. Swung on, laced down the right field side. That's going to go through the right side for a base hit. Chumita will get a leadoff single for Wooster, and just like that, a runner on for the Fighting Scots.
Well placed by Chumita there with the single. Ruggieri was playing back, but Chumita able to get that one through the hole on the right side of the infield to turn it over to the top of the order. Scott's looking to go to work with the leadoff man aboard.
And that'll bring us back to the top of the order, and Nick Strasbaugh grounded out to Brian McAuliffe at third in his first appearance. The delivery. Breaking ball hits the bottom part of the zone. Beautiful pitch from John Troll. 0-1 the count. Won the count on Nick Strasbaugh. The pitch. And that fastball is going to hit high and inside on the top corner. Strike two, now an 0-2 count on Strasbaugh. Strasbaugh, as we've seen, has had a nice week, really both defensively and offensively. Troll, the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike three. Couple of strikes looking and then a swinging strikeout. That'll be the second strikeout of the game for John Troll, and right now the senior righty is in control of this game.
Yeah, Strasbaugh was looking fastball there. Gaston was out in front of that one. Now be up to Jacob Sturzma to try to spark this offense. He had the triple his first time up to the dish today.
Breaking ball in the zone for Troll, who has found a lot of success with that breaking ball. We've seen him start a lot of at-bats with that. And then once he either gets ahead in the count, that's when he brings the heat. Swung on and missed. Clocked that at 82 for strike two. One thing, I have been very pleased with the fact that we have had the pitch, the radar gun here for us this week. That has been very helpful. Swung on. High fly ball to right. Robinson doesn't have to move too much. Makes the grab out number two. And so far we have seen hits in each of the first three innings for the Fighting Scots, but outside of the triple from Sturzma, the singles in the second and third have not yet been able to come in.
Right, Wooster not able to string those big innings together. Denison's had success with that. We saw the 3-run homer in the bottom of the second from Grady Payne. As Tim Petterini put it yesterday, Wooster had the sacrifice fly, Denison got the hit. So far a little more of the same. Wooster's been squeaking with noise, and it's been Denison coming through and making the noise.
5-1 is your score. Denison in front of Wooster here in Game 7 of the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament. The pitch. High for ball two. That's Dan Harwood now at the plate. Struck out looking in his last appearance, but he has had also quite the tournament. Had a 3-run bomb in the first game between these two teams that occurred on Thursday. The pitch. That one will come back and hit the zone for strike one. 2-1 the count.
A good spot by Troll there. Harwood thought about it and then decided to not pull the trigger. Instead, take the called strike.
2-1 the count. 2 down. The pitch. Swung on. High fly ball. Shallow left. Walker trying to move in on it. And it's going to get off the glove of McAuliffe in fair territory. Rounding third and coming home will be Chumita. And that will go down. Look to be an E5 on the third baseman. McAuliffe made a nice play underneath it, but just got off the bottom part of that glove. And just like that, it's a 5-2 game. Chumita scores for Wooster.
Yeah, that one hung up there for a long time. It was a little tricky to get to, but McAuliffe was back there in plenty of time, had the glove on it, and just wasn't able to squeeze it enough to secure the catch, so he's going to get charged with an error on the play.
So now 5-2 your score and a runner on second for Wooster. And that was just one of those balls that when it gets that high and we have just enough wind, not a lot by any means, but just enough where once it gets high enough, that thing can go really anywhere at once. Now Troll has an 0-1 count on Garrett Crum. The pitch swung on. Crum sends it right field side. Krishena trying to keep up with it. It's going to actually get out of play. The grassy knoll area past the first base side bleachers. And now this is a bigger situation than what it appeared to be a batter ago, because now it's only a 3-run deficit for Wooster and a runner now in scoring position, and maybe not having the greatest week this week, but having a really good season in Garrett Crum at the plate. The pitch swung on high, fly ball, kind of shallow right and left center. Farron's going to come in on it and make the grab for out number 3.
Yeah, I think you're seeing outfielders in particular because Walker didn't really get a good jump on that ball by Harwood, and he probably should have taken charge on that since he was coming in versus Lawn and McAuliffe going out, and you saw Farron actually start back and then have to charge in on that. So I'm wondering if maybe perhaps some of the outfielders are having a little bit of difficulty locating that ball today in the clouds.
True.
Although this is the least cloudy day of the tournament, but maybe because the clouds are a little more inconsistent, in and out, patchy today, might be a little harder for some of those guys to be locating this baseball here.
That's a really good point to be made, Kevin, because even though it's not what it was, it just really depends on the positioning of, okay, well, one spot you can see it, but then all of a sudden it gets lost.
Right.
And in the past couple of days, it's just been up there, and you just hope for the best. But now you're in a position, all right, one spot's going to be blue, and then once it comes down, oh, goodness, where'd it go? So that could be tough. And on that play right there, that was just a really tough spot to be had anyway. And the shot and the one up the middle that Farron was able to get for the final out of the inning, that was just one of those that looked like it was going to left center, and then it drifted over to center field. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Brian Murray once again towing the rubber here on the top of the third. He's been tagged for 5 runs through the first 2 innings of play. He's looking to find a little more consistency here in the third. And he will have to do it against the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Denison. Leading off the inning will be first baseman Will Krishena, who continues to have quite the season for the Big Red. Had a 2-run double back in the first inning that took the lead for the Big Red, 2-1 at the time. And then Grady Payne's 3-run dinger over the right field wall in the second is what puts us in the 5-2 position that we're in. 1-0 the count on Krishena. The delivery. Swung on, grounded foul, third base side. 1-1 the count on Will Krishena. As we mentioned before, entered today's game with 66 runs batted in. Now has 68 for the season. Continues to add to his now single-season record in Denison history.
He's one behind the national lead now in Division III, and runs batted in is Krishena.
Lifts one to right field. Underneath it will be Gabor. Makes the grab, 1 down. We have really seen, outside of just the error to McAuliffe down that left field side, we have still continued to see some great defensive play out of both sides, and that's what you're going to get when these two teams square off.
Tim Pennerini going to go to the bullpen already here in the bottom of the third as he's going for the left-hander Wyatt Lynn to match up against the left-handed hitting Brian McAuliffe. So Brian Murray's going to be done after 2 1/3 innings, allowing 5 runs on 5 hits, did Murray. So it's going to be Wyatt Lynn taking over when we return. You're watching the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament.
As Kevin mentioned before we left, ladies and gentlemen, take a quick break, Wyatt Lind will be on the hill this time to relieve Brian Murray. He came in to relieve Andrew Hill in game 6 of this tournament that happened last night. And he is now getting the relief opportunity in back-to-back games. Swung on, high fly ball out of play for strike one.
This is Lynn's third appearance in Chillicothe this week, 20th on the season. He's 2-1. ERA is 4. Lynn does have a save. He's worked 18 innings, 16 strikeouts. The opposition batting .324 off Lynn.
The pitch swung on and missed, strike two. And as you mentioned before we went to the break, the lefty-lefty matchup usually favors the pitcher. And it's one of those situations, a move by Coach Pederini to go with that opportunity. Swung on and missed. Gets out of the glove of Gale. And it'll be a throw over to first for out number 2.
Filthy slider there from Wyatt Lind. McAuliffe had no answer for that, and then Dan Gale has to work equally as hard because that bottom seems to fall out a lot for Wyatt Lind, and who's ever catching has to really be on your toes once that count gets to 2 strikes to be able to come up and make a throw down to first, just like Dan Gale did there.
Swung on by Baldinger, grounded toward third. The glove by Dittman, the throw to first in time for out number 3. Really nice play by Dittman to track that ball as it was a slow roller, kind of cutting toward the shortstop. Made that play, and a beautiful one to end the inning.
Yeah, Dittman's made that play time and time again during his 4 years with the Fighting Scots. It's almost like he's putting zero effort into it because he's just such a great all-around player. Gets that nice, easy throw over to first base to get the runner. And more importantly for Wooster at this point, trailing 5-2, an inning where Denison does not score.
Big inning for the Fighting Scots. We'll take a quick break as John Troll will return to the hill for the Big Red here in the top of the 4th in the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament Championship. Top of the 4th, and the Fighting Scots back at the plate with the Big Red and John Troll back in the field. Troll so far has had a really nice start to this one. The pitch will miss outside to Dittman, strike one. He'll be responsible for the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Wooster, and Dittman, Ben Gabor, and Dan Gale. Dittman flied out to center in his first appearance against John Troll. That one will hit the zone for strike one. John Troll, as you mentioned, got into a little bit of trouble in the first with the one-out triple from Starsma. And then the run scored by Tyler Chimita on the error. That now makes it a 5-2 game. That one will also come down Broadway for strike two as Troll gets ahead of Chandler Dittman 1-2. The 1-2 pitch swung on, high fly ball to right center. And Robinson underneath it near the warning track makes the grab for out number 1. Will hit ball from Dittman, but just not deep enough.
Yeah, he's had 2 good swings of it, just got underneath both of them a little bit. So 2 flyouts, loud outs, but outs nonetheless, and Denison will take them any way they can because it's 1 out closer.
Absolutely, and for the Big Red looking to secure their first NCAC Tournament Championship in program history as they carry a 5-2 lead here with 1 out in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, we talked about Denison getting to Game 7 against Ohio Wesleyan. Last time the Big Red were in Game 7, you think back to that 2005 tournament. Denison was an out away from beating Wooster. Wooster with 5 runs in the 9th to come back 11-9. So Denison's looking for their long overdue, given the success they've had for that first tournament title. But of course, with Tim Pederini in his last year, his Fighting Scots want so bad to win this one today, especially since he'll be retiring at the end of the season.
After 38 years, that would definitely be a well-deserved honor for a guy and a coach that has done so much for a program over such a long period of time. 1-2 the count with 1 out on Ben Gabor, who has had himself a nice week so far for the Fighting Scots. Is 1 for 1 in this game with a single. The pitch missing outside, ball 2. been Gabor, one of those many freshmen that has really had a really good start to a really good season so far. We've seen it time and time again with really both of these teams where freshmen have come in and really put together good outings day in and day out.
You mentioned freshman. Lipman came up big for the Big Red yesterday, getting the game ball in the first game of this championship round. Kept his team in a really tight game all the way through and through. And then another freshman, Henry Hack, came in, did a nice job out of the bullpen, got the win in the game, and that brought us to the winner-takes-all game here today.
3-2, the count. We are all full from Troll and Gabor. Troll finds the one he likes. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on, high fly ball out of play. And it will keep it at 3-2. Assistant coach Donson Dirth of the Big Red brings out some more baseballs for Clark Husky, the home plate umpire. Troll looks for his sign, finds the one he likes from Baldinger. Here it is. And they're going to say Gabor went through on that one for strike 3 and out number 2 in the inning. So with 2 down, here in the top of the 4th, that brings up Dan Gale. 5-2 is your score. 5 runs on 5 hits, 1 error for the Big Red. 2 runs on 3 hits and no errors for Wooster. The pitch missing a little outside to Gale for ball 1. In this game, Gale 0 for 1 with a fly out to center. The pitch hits the zone. Strike 1. So far, a lot of strikes thrown from John Troll. He has not been afraid to attack the zone today.
No, he definitely has not.
The pitch swung on, fouled back behind the plate for strike 2.
That was Troll's 64th pitch. 46 of those have been strikes on the day. He's really stepped up in a big way for the Big Red. This is just his second start of the season. First one came back on the spring break trip, when obviously you have to go a little deeper with your starting rotation, playing so many games in so few days.
Absolutely. And John Troll, as we've talked about in the past, a starter for the previous 2 seasons, and now really as a senior, he's been kind of filled into that middle relief role, and he has succeeded. Pitch missing outside, ball 2. Really kind of found his home in that role, and he has done everything and more for head coach Mike Deegan. As he continues to do right now, here's the 2-2. Missing outside, now a full count. The pitch count may be a little high for the 4th inning, but we have seen quite a few full counts, and Troll has won a large portion of those. The pitch swung on, grounded foul, third base side, out of play. Keeps it at a full count, 3-2, 2 down. And right now, Wooster trying to find a rhythm at the plate, something they haven't really been able to do the last 2 games against Denison after posting 19 runs on Thursday evening.
It's been an up and down season. Wooster's usually very consistent offensively, scoring a lot of runs on a near daily basis, but it's been a little bit hit or miss for the Scots this year. And Tim Patarini alluded to earlier this week on our coaches show and along the season as well, that he's still been in search of that consistency, both from a pitching and an offensive standpoint this year.
Single up the middle for Dan Gale. We'll put a runner on with 2 down for Wooster.
Good piece of hitting there, just took it right back up the middle. Let's see if Harrison Walls can continue this for the Scots. So Wooster's looking to string some hits, some base runners together.
Be a big opportunity now for Harrison Walls, and assistant coach Ryan Romick going to talk with John Troll in this one.
Yeah, Troll's pitch count starting to climb as that's back-to-back 9-pitch at bats. Thanks to our official score, Jason Miller, for the info.
Talk about somebody that has brought their A game this week. That is Jason Miller. Where do you think I learned it from? Yeah, Craig. But
Craig Hicks.
From Craig Hicks, yeah. 2 down. Coach Romick heading back to the dugout. Having a few words of encouragement to John Troll.
If you look at the score, 5-2 still in the top of the fourth, you see the differences a day made this week at the tournament. One of the keys for the Big Red, and obviously it's just baseball 101. It's amazing what happens when you're not walking a lot of people, as we saw in the first game that these two teams played here in Chillicothe this week.
I believe that game had a total of, 21 walks in that game. Really tightened things up, both sides have. The pitch swung on by Walls, deep left. Walker going back at the track near the wall, and it will be caught just by Richie's Marketplace Restaurant there in deep left field, and that will be out number 3, and that'll end the top of the fourth. 5-2 is still your score. The Big Red will be back at the plate in the bottom of the fourth when we return here from Chillicothe. Bottom of the fourth, and it will be Wyatt Lind again for Wooster. That first pitch to Vince Walker will come down Broadway for strike 1. 0-1 the quick count on Vince Walker.
Yeah, Walker had a big poke his first time up, but it was tracked down by Dan Harwood in the left center gap. We've seen a lot of well-struck balls that typically would normally leave this park, but the park is holding him in today. You really have to get into one to get it over that wall today. And this park, given the NCAC tournament history, has been known to have a lot of home runs hit, but that's not the case here so far today, although Grady Payne does have one.
That'll be a swing and miss on strike 3. And a throw out at first off the drop ball.
Yeah, again, another slider. Dan Gale doing a nice job. Knows Wyatt Lind. He's caught Wyatt Lind enough to know the bottom's going to fall out on that pitch. Keep it in front of you. Get up. Stay composed. Get a good throw off to Garrett Crum at first.
That'll bring up Cam Farron, who walked in his last appearance and also scored a run. One of those runs that scored in the second inning off of the 3-run home run from Grady Payne. The pitch swung on, sent right back up the middle, and making the play is Sturzma. The throw to first is not in time, and Farron's going to beat it out. That was a really well-hit ball by Farron, kind of into that no-man's land in the middle of the infield. But you got to give credit to Sturzma, really coming in on it and making a play that was closer than you would have thought.
Right, and Tyler Chimita was right there, too, the second baseman. Obviously, Jacob Sturzma cut in front of it, just given the momentum coming toward first base. Sturzma had the best chance to get an out at first, but Farron able to beat it out.
Pitch low for ball 1 on Anthony Ruggieri, the number 9 hitter for the Big Red.
Evan Faxon, the sophomore left-hander, is warming in Worcester's bullpen. Faxon started against Denison earlier in this tournament. Obviously with the third day now with the commencement conflicts in Allegheny, which graduates today, Wabash tomorrow eliminated. Teams able to get guys back that heading into the tournament, depending how it shook out here at the end, you wouldn't necessarily be able to get them back had this game been played yesterday.
1-1 the count on Ruggieri with 1 out. Farron takes his lead. Pickoff move over at first, not in time. Farron gets back safely. Farron takes his lead. Now pickoff move. Thrown away. Error by the pitcher and Wyatt Lind, and off of that, Cam Farron will take second. Lind keeping his eye on Farron. Farron made him make a mistake, and just like that, 1 out and a runner in scoring position at second on the error from Wyatt Lynn. It's one of those that Lynn was keeping his eye on Farron constantly.
Yeah.
And Farron made him pay.
That works both ways. Sometimes you're too focused on that, and then the errant throw, or you skip one over there, gets by the first baseman. There's always that risk. But obviously, Denison's proven time and time again they're willing to get guys in motion. So we'll see if we get a possible bunt laid down here again. And if Ruggieri's just trying to make sure he makes contact and get it to the right side. If it gets in for a hit, great. If not, at least the guy's still at third base.
Pitch will miss high on Ruggieri, makes it a 2-1 count. The pitch swung on, high fly ball. Left field, and looked like it's going to go out of play off of a tree just past third base and right next to that kind of that gazebo picnic area on the third base line.
That'd be interesting if that picnic area was down the first baseline with how it juts out. We mentioned that errant throw, just how that's structured. If that kind of alignment down the right field line, that errant throw on a pickoff play would potentially be easy 2 bases for a speedy base runner.
Very true. The pitch missing high. Ball 3, and now a full count on Anthony Ruggieri.
Because with that, you might not be able to quite see the extent of it in the fixed camera angle for the tournament. If the ball gets in front of it, fielder's got to come around it, and if it gets lodged behind it, you almost got to throw over it.
It definitely is not something a fielder would normally like to deal with, and swung on and missed from Ruggieri. Will go down as a strikeout for Lynn, the second of the inning.
Yeah, that's Lynn's third strikeout. He's faced 5 batters, so he's come in and really got the job done for the Fighting Scots, who still trail this one 5-2 in the bottom of the 4th.
So that will bring us back to the top of the order for the Big Red, and Max Lon will dig in. Lon singled and scored back in the second. It was his single that actually pushed what would have been Farron to third, setting up for Grady Payne's 3-run home run.
For Lon, that's his 70th base knock of the season. One of the top hitters in Division III this year.
The pitch swung on up the middle of the field. That's going to drop in shallow right center for a base hit. Farron's rounding at third and coming home. Play at the plate. The throw is not in time. Advancing to second on the throw is going to be Max Lon. And that hit will be number 71 of the season for Max Lon, and it will go down as an RBI single. And it's a 6-2 game in favor of the Big Red.
That run's going to be unearned for now. Ben Gabor came up firing. He's got a cannon for an arm, as I alluded to earlier, out there in right field. Dan Gale had a chance on the play at the plate, but Farron just able to slide in there right ahead of the tag of Gale. Now a 6-2 Denison lead in the bottom of the 4th.
The pitch. Pitch will miss inside for ball 2 on Grady Payne. Payne, as we've talked about, has had quite the game so far. 2 for 2 with a home run, a single, 2 runs scored, and 3 runs batted in.
It's actually a 1-0 count. Scoreboard's a pitch ahead.
The pitch, and that one will hit the strike zone. Now 1-1 the count. Thank you, Kevin. One the count, thanks to not only Kevin, but Clark Husky, the home plate umpire. Lynn checks second. The pitch. And that will miss low for ball 2. Now 2-1 the count on Payne.
Good thing the umpires have their indicators. Those things are crucial, because I know At least at the professional level, you don't really see them looks like they aren't holding one, so they're relying on that scoreboard for the balls and strike count.
The pitch, swung on, high fly ball, out to near left center. Harwood underneath it with the grab for out number 3. We've played 4 here in Chillicothe. Another run at it off of a Max Lawn RBI single will make it a 6-2 game as we enter the 5th in favor of the Big Red here in the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament Championship between Denison and Wooster. Top of the 5th. Troll back on the rubber for the Big Red. And that first pitch will hit the zone on the number 9 hitter in Tyler Chumita.
Second time this game, Chumita's led off an inning. He did his job back in the 3rd with a single. Came in to score on the Big Red error on third baseman Brian McAuliffe. So Chumita looking to spark his Scots, who find themselves down 4 again as we're in the top of the 5th.
Nick Strasbaugh, the leadoff batter on deck, and Jake Sturzman in the hole. Swung on, grounded foul, third base side. 6-2 is your score in favor of Denison here in the top of the 5th. Denison has been putting runs up in chunks throughout the game. And right now, Wooster is fighting for some runs to get back into this one, down 4. Chumita sends a kind of a high liner to left field. Walker underneath it for the grab. Out number 1.
There's activity now in Denison's bullpen as Troll is at 76 pitches, pitching on short rest as he saved Denison in the first game of this tournament. Came in strong outing out of the pen. Offense rallied back past the Allegheny Gators.
That pitch down the middle of the plate for strike 1 on the leadoff bat, on the top of the order in Nick Strasbaugh. Warming up in the Denison bullpen, number 31, Henry Hack. Strasbaugh just a foot away from sending that one fair down the third base line as that goes foul for strike 2.
And Hack was the key in yesterday's game, pitching-wise for Denison, keeping Wooster at bay down the stretch. And Mike Deegan looking to go with 2 of his hottest arms in this winner-take-all game.
The pitch swung on, grounded right down the third base line. Nice diving save by McAuliffe to throw to first. Is in time for out number 2. What a play by Brian McAuliffe.
Yeah, he had to get that one on the ground on the backhand, get up, throw out the speedy Strasbaugh. We've seen McAuliffe make several key defensive plays in this tournament. Makes up for his error earlier in the game with that one.
And that'll bring up Jake Sturzma. Sturzma 1 for 2 today with a triple and a run scored. The pitch will miss. Well, actually, will hit in the bottom part of the zone for strike 1.
Yeah, Troll's really been living down there. Worcester's been unable to adjust. Only 4 hits so far. They've been unable to adjust to Troll working so far down in that zone. Now, when he messes up, the Scots have been a little over-eager and have just been skying everything. The Big Red, for the most part, able to keep that, everything contained.
The 1-1. Missing high and inside for ball 2. You talk about a couple of 9-pitch at-bats that Troll had in the last inning in the 4th, but he's really found his efficiency here today. Grounded foul, third base side once again. He hasn't thrown many pitches where you felt he was just trying to get out of the at-bat. Every decision seems to be calculated from the senior righty. Here's the pitch, swung on, sends it through the left side for a base hit. That Sturzman, his second hit of the game, and that puts a runner on with 2 outs for Wooster. And the big thing hasn't been getting the hits for Wooster, it's been pushing them through for runs. As now that's the second. He has 2 of the 5 hits for Wooster today in the 5th inning.
And one of the 2 runs tried to steal home Straight steal in the first inning. Caught Troll off guard. Balked. Would have had to play at the plate had there been no balk, but there was a balk on the play. That was the game's first run.
Harwood with a grounder right into the glove of Krushena. He'll tag first, and that will end the inning. And after the single from Sturzma, that'll send us to the bottom of the fifth. Denison back at the plate when we return. 6-2 is your score. Denison in front of Wooster. Here's the bottom of the fifth. It'll be Wyatt Lind once again for Wooster. He has been effective since he entered for Brian Murray. And that first pitch to Ty Robinson will be fouled at the plate and behind the plate.
Yeah, Lind's worked an inning and 2/3 so far. 3 strikeouts. An unearned run on 2 hits.
Be a slow roller up the first base line. Gloved by Lind. The throw to first in time for out number 1 of the inning. So 1 down, bottom of the fifth. And that brings up Will Krushena. Krushena flied out to right, in his last at bat. But he does have that 2-run double on his resume for today. The hit that originally put the Big Red in front, and they've been in front ever since. 6-2 your score here in the bottom of the fifth. Lind comes set, the pitch swung on, sent foul right field side. And that's the one thing about Krushena. He's not your typical pole hitter where he just keeps sending it to left field. He is all over the field. You know, he even does a good job of going opposite, which sets him up to get extra base hits quite often. Since that foul behind the plate for his second strike at the at-bat makes it a 1-2 count on the junior. Digs in. The pitch swung on, back behind the plate on the netting here at VA Memorial Stadium.
Good job staying alive there by McAuliffe. Got to watch
Krushena.
Krushena. McAuliffe on deck. Krushena has to watch out for that slider. And
it looked like it was trying to come there low in the dirt from Lind. And that will just send it to a 2-2 count now on Krushena. And that's his thing, still with a pitch to give. Lind has the ability to waste another pitch. Swung on and missed. Got him high, slowed it down on that slider. And Krushena swung on and missed for out number 2 of the inning.
I got a piece of that. Dane Gale, nice job, able to hold on to give Wyatt Lind his 4th strikeout of the outing. Lind's now worked 2 1/3 innings.
Really has been a nice performance out of the bullpen for Wyatt Lind. First pitch to McAuliffe will miss for ball 1.
He's pitched a variety of roles this year for Tim Petterini. Sometimes he's just on to face one batter, get the Scots out of an inning before he goes to a different guy. And this is about the 3rd or 4th time he's pitched 2+ innings this year. And he's really come through as a senior, one of the all-time leaders in program history in appearances. Had the 2nd most outings in a single season last year as a junior. Battled some injuries early, but has really come back strong the last 2 years in particular to be that workhorse for the Fighting Scots.
Lind comes set. Here's the 2-1. That one will come back and hit the zone now. 2-2 the count.
The other good thing, a thing like a tournament like this doesn't really phase Wyatt Lind. Does his work in between games, always has himself available and ready to go.
Pitch will miss in the turf. And McAuliffe did not go, as that's going to make the count full. Haven't seen too many full counts out of Wyatt Lind since he entered back in the 3rd. And has done a wonderful job in relief. The pitch swung on, high fly ball from McAuliffe. Gabor going back. And It's off the top of the wall. Throw will come in from Strasbaugh. He's going to try to get to third, and he will. A well-hit ball from Brian McAuliffe, kind of deceptively just kept going back and back. Gabor using that 6'5" frame to try to make a play there at the wall. But it just hits off the top, and it will be a 2-out triple now for Brian McAuliffe.
Almost a spectacular play by the Scots right fielder, just unable to come up with that one up against the wall. And now Whiteland's going to have to work around this 2-out base runner in the bottom of the 5th. This team already down 4 runs, trying to keep that as a 4-run deficit.
Second triple we have seen in this game. It's kind of interesting that, have more triples than seems like you do singles in this one.
Right, I mentioned with the first triple by Jacob Sturzma, that wall causes a bit of an adjustment for the outfielders in particular. During the regular season, you're pretty much accustomed to playing with fields with fences instead of walls. The ball's going to kick around a little bit differently than it would typically in the regular season. And then with a artificial turf, warning tracks that as well. Art Murray Field, where the Scots play, is stone. And then obviously dirt's another common substance used on that.
Right. A lot of changes. Right now a 6-2 lead for the Big Red. Baldinger swings and misses, and that will end the inning. The runner stays at third, and second strikeout of the inning, and I believe the 5th for the game for Wyatt Lind.
Yes, 5th, and that's the 3rd one that's been down on the turf that Dan Gales had to dig out and either throw to Garrett Crum, that time able to track down Baldinger before he was able to take off and try to get to first. So great job defensively by Baldinger's counterpart behind the plate, Dan Gale.
Looks like we're going to have a new pitcher for the Big Red. And when we come back, we'll have more information on the freshman Henry Hack here from the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament Championship. Denison 6, Wooster 2, top of the 6th. Top of the 6th, new pitcher for the Big Red, number 31, Henry Hack. The freshman right-hander for Denison, who entered yesterday's game and was granted the win for the Big Red as he came in relief of Kenny Littman and moved to 3-0 on the season. Now carries a 1.32 ERA. The pitch swung on by Garrett Crum to center. Farron doesn't have to go back too far, makes the grab for out number 1.
Yeah, Hack did the lion's share of the work yesterday. 3 2/3 innings, really mixed speeds, locations very well. One run on 2 hits, 2 walks, a strikeout. More of a pitch to contact. He does have that strikeout capability, but more of a pitch to contact outing yesterday, and really came through for head coach Mike Deegan. And as the hot arm out of the pen, he's the first one to trot out of there today for Denison.
Pitch to Chandler Dittman high and outside. Ball 1. Dittman 0 for 2 in this game, a pair of flyouts. Here in the top of the 6th. Wooster in a position trying to get some runs. The pitch that will hit the bottom part of the zone for strike 1. And now we see Henry Hack doing the same thing John Troll did and continue to attack the bottom part of the strike zone.
That's been a good recipe for success today because that's consistently been called a strike. Very consistent zone today from Clark Husky. And Denison's pitchers know where it's going to get called, so they're making sure they're making a lot of pitches where they know if Wooster watches it go by, they're going to get strikes called.
1-2 the count on Dittman. The pitch swung on by Dittman out to center, and it will go right into the glove of Cam Farron. Farron playing, it looks like he's shifting to the right. His left, but right there for that strike from Chandler Dittman will get the out, and if he would have been lined up really dead center, he may have had to really make a big play on that one.
Right, you've seen the defense pulled around for 2 batters in particular, those being Chandler Dittman, Dan Harwood. Dittman more susceptible to pulling the ball on a more consistent basis. Harwood's been having his approach, changing his approach, trying to shoot everything the other way this week here in Chillicothe.
0-1 the count, 2 down. Hack now facing Ben Gabor. The pitch swung on, fouled out of play. Baldinger gives it chase behind the dish.
If we didn't have a awning over us, we might have been able to make a play on that one, Curt.
I think we could have. I definitely trust your fielding skills much more than mine.
Why, thank you. I played first base for a few years.
All right. Okay. I could see it.
Tried me at catcher, and I was left-handed, so they're like, well, you're on first base.
Just like that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 1-2 now the count on Ben Gabor, who has had a fine tournament so far this week. Looking to put a charge into one for the Fighting Scots in the 6th. Gabor sends one up the middle, gloved by Lon. The throw to first is in time, and what a play by Max Lon to end the top of the 6th. 3 up, 3 down for Henry Hack. And a way to do it out of the bullpen for the Big Red. When you're coming in relief for a guy in John Troll that was so good through 5 innings, you want to do the same, and that's what Hack did. We're going to take a quick break as we return for the bottom of the 6th. Here from the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament Championship game, 6-2 is your score in favor of Denison. Bottom of the 6th, and it's Wyatt Lind once again, who has really been remarkable since entering the game for Brian Murray in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Really putting together a quality relief outing for Wooster. His first batter faced will be Vince Walker in this inning. Be a 1-1 count on the junior left fielder. 6-2 is your score. Denison in front of Wooster here in Game 7 of the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament. Pitch comes across the plate. Strike 2. Now puts Walker behind in the count 1-2. On deck, Cam Farron. In the hole, Anthony Ruggieri. So far today, Walker 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. That will miss low. 2-2 now the count. Walker entered today having one of the best weeks of anybody in this tournament, hitting .462 before today's game with 6 hits and 3 runs batted in. That's going to be a shot up the middle for a base hit. And a leadoff single for Vince Walker will put a runner on for the Big Red. And just like that, nobody out, bottom of the 6th, as he head to a guy who is even having an even better week for Denison, and that's Cam Farron. So a runner on, nobody out. Freshman Cam Farron going to meet with head coach Mike Deegan. A couple of words of encouragement. See where everything stands right now. An approach he should take. The pitch swung on and missed for strike 1. After Vince Walker reached on a single up the middle in the first at bat. Farron now with an 0-1 count against Wyatt Lind. The pitch swung on, sends it opposite field to the left side for a base hit. I'll go back to Harwood. He'll think about throwing in, but that'll move Walker up to second, and now runners on first and second with nobody out.
Good piece of hitting by one of the top hitters this week for the Big Red there in Farron.
Now the infield is going to come in and talk to Wyatt Lind.
Getting a pitching change here. It's Tim Petterini coming out to the mound.
And even though that Wyatt Lind has been remarkable since entering, it's looking like they're going to go to another left-hander for Wooster and see what they're able to do. Runners on first and second for the Big Red. Nobody out, bottom of the 6th. And Wyatt Lind's day is done. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more information on the new pitcher when we return. 6-2 your score. Denison in front of Wooster. New pitcher for Wooster is going to be Evan Faxon. Faxon started the first game between these two teams that occurred on Thursday evening, and he looked fairly sharp against the Big Red as the starter, now coming in relief for Wooster with runners on first and second and nobody out against Anthony Ruggieri.
Yeah, he was one of the go-to arms last year for head coach Tim Pederini in the postseason. That looks to be the case again this year.
Ruggieri lays down a bunt, gloved by Chandler Dittman on the run in, makes the play over at first in time for out number one. Runners now at second and third.
Good job by Evan Faxon letting Chandler Dittman take charge there, the sure-handed third baseman. Obviously, being a left-handed pitcher would have been difficult for Faxon to spin and throw in time. We're going to have an intentional walk to Lawn.
So now an intentional walk to Max Lawn, something we have seen out of both of these teams issue in the last couple of games against each other. Now it's coming in, and that's one of those things. You know you set up for the double play ball and the play at the plate, but you're doing it against now a guy with the bases loaded in Grady Payne who's already went 2 for 3 with a 3-run home run and 2 runs scored.
Right, lefty-lefty matchup here. See what Faxon's able to do. He went 5 2/3 in that game, as you mentioned earlier this week. 1 run on 5 hits, 6 strikeouts.
Payne sends it foul back behind the plate. Now 0-1 count with 1 out.
And one of those strikeouts that Faxon had earlier this week was against Grady Payne.
Payne digging in at the plate. The pitch from Faxon. Hits the zone. Back-to-back strikes now on Grady Payne, an 0-2 count for Evan Faxon.
Good job by Faxon to get ahead. He's got a couple different pitches he can get you to chase with. Got to be careful, though, nibbling here. Don't want to risk bouncing one in there. Obviously, as good as Giel is, don't want to take this chance already down 4 with runner on third.
That one misses a little low and outside for ball 1 of the count. 1-2 now on Grady Payne, who has also put his name kind of in consideration for all tournament team with the performance he has laid out. The pitch, swung on, high fly ball, not deep in the infield. Underneath it will be Jumida to make the grab for out number 2.
Key out there, infield fly in play with the bases loaded, less than 2 outs. Faxon able to get Payne to get well underneath that, and the hottest stick for the Big Red thus far today is back in the dugout.
And that brings up Ty Robinson. Robinson in this game is 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. The pitch swung on, sends it out to center, but looks like it's going to be right to Strasbaugh in center field. And just like that, Evan Faxon leaves the bases loaded on the shot to center, the fly out to center, pardon me. And that will take us to the 7th inning. And a little momentum in favor of Wooster after getting a big out like that with the bases loaded. We'll see what they can do on offense against the Denison pitching staff that has been on point today. We'll return for the top of the 7th, 6-2 your score. Denison on top of Wooster here in the 2019 NCAC Tournament Championship game in Chillicothe, Ohio. Top of the 7th, Worcester's opportunity to kind of chip away at their 4-run deficit. 6-2 is your score. Denison in front of the Fighting Scots. Henry Hack will face the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for Wooster. Leading off will be Dan Gale. That first pitch missing for ball 1.
Yeah, Hack's been a tough nut to crack for this week so far. He came in 1, 2, 3 in the 6th, picked up right where he left off yesterday. Key part in getting us to today is had Wooster won yesterday, they would have picked up the NCAC tournament crown.
1-1 the count after Hack comes back to Gale with a strike right down Broadway. Here's the pitch. Swung on, grounded down the third base line. Glove by McAuliffe. The throw to first is going to be in time. A nice play from Krushenna to dig a little deep and get that one for out number one.
Yeah, we talked yesterday. Krushenna's who you want out there at first base, has those long arms. The build really helps make that Big Red infield look even better. He's able to scoop it well, reach high, reach wide, keep that foot on the bag. He's definitely a frame that you want playing first base.
One down here in the top of the seventh, and that brings up Harrison Walls. First pitch to Walls is going to miss inside for ball one. Hasn't necessarily been first pitch strikes for Henry Hack since he entered, but he has really come back with a vengeance, and that breaking ball does just that. 1-1 the count now.
Yeah, not first pitch strikes, but all that matters is right now on the score sheet, he's faced 4 batters, has 4 outs recorded.
Hack comes set, the 1-1. And fastball catching the outside corner for strike 2. Only a freshman, but Hack has looked comfortable ever since he has entered last evening. High fly ball in foul territory, right field side. Krushenna goes to reach for it and unable to bring it in. Keeps it at 1-2.
Yeah, a lot of room down there. Long run to go. Just not able to get there for that one.
6-2 your score. Denison in front of Wooster. Wooster trying to start piecing together some hits and put some runs across. Denison trying to hold them off and secure their first NCAC championship in program history.
The winner of this one gets the NCAC's automatic bid to the championship field. Winner fates in the hands of that committee, as there's a limited number of Pool C, which is the at-large. The official name for the at-large bids available, and the selections will be announced at noon Eastern on Monday.
The pitch swung on and miss from Walls, and that will be the 5th straight out for Henry Hack and the first strikeout of the game for the freshman.
For those of you D3 baseball enthusiasts, of course you're familiar. New structure this year. Gone are the 6 and 8 team regionals. It'll either be a 4-team regional this year, or there will be a couple sites that'll be 2 teams who play a best of 5-game series. Then there'll be 16 winners from those. Super regional, best of 3-game series. The 8 winners of those going to the Division III World Series, which will be in Iowa this year instead of Appleton, Wisconsin.
Fouled out of play is the bat of Tyler Chumita. And given the way these two teams have played this season, Kevin, both have that in mind of heading to Iowa at the end of the month. Chumita digs in. Here's the pitch from Hack. Right down Broadway, 3 straight strikes from Henry Hack is going to sit down Chumita looking. Second straight 3 up, 3 down inning for Henry Hack. It's a 6-2 Denison lead entering the bottom of the 7th. It's stretch time here in Chillicothe, as it is a 4-run lead for the Big Red. We'll be right back. Bottom of the 7th, the Big Red going to go with the big bat of Will Krushenna to lead off the inning. The 4, 5, and 6 hitters will face Evan Faxon. Faxon working quickly to start the inning. The first pitch missing inside for ball 1.
Krushenna had the first big knock of the game in the first inning. 2-run double down that left field line. Denison's been in control ever since, up 6-2 here. They've doubled up Wooster so far in the hits column, 10-5 as well.
1-1 the count on Will Krushenna. Continues to show why he is one of the best players in not only the NCAC, but in all of Division III NCAA. Fouls that one back off at behind the plate for strike 2. 1-2 now the count. His 2-run double in the bottom of the first put the Big Red in front, and they have not looked back ever since. 6-2 your score. The pitch Swung on, high fly ball out of play, right field side. And keeps it alive at 1-2.
Yeah, Faxon had to extinguish the fire when he came on last inning. First two had reached. Wound up with the bases loaded.
Crushena with a grounder right to short. Gloved by Sturzma. The throw to first in time for out number 1.
He wound up with the bases loaded. There was a sacrifice bunt in there. Intentional walk set up the double play. Faxon made a couple big pitches, infield fly, and then a fly ball to Nick Strasbaugh off the bat of Robinson to leave them loaded in this game. Still a 4-run affair as Brian McAuliffe's up now. Almost hit one out last time, did McAuliffe.
Pitch missing in the dirt against, in the turf against McAuliffe for ball 1. Don't know if I'll ever get that right, Kevin.
Maybe if Denison ever adds a turf field,
well,
then you're used to it on a regular basis.
That pitch from Faxon will hit the zone for strike 2. 1-2 the count now on McAuliffe.
In Ohio now, you almost have to have a turf field at the collegiate level. You see more and more going in every time a team does some renovations to their facility now. Kenyon just recently added theirs. Think of Oberlin and Baldwin Wallace, other recent teams that have turf their fields.
Just given the way the weather is in this state, you have to always be kind of prepared. Pitch missing outside for ball 1. Or to keep it at a 1-2 count, pardon me.
Yes, sun is shining today. First time we've seen that this week in Chillicothe.
McAuliffe, a small roller, and it kind of turns back on Gale. He's unable, he gets in front of it, can't scoot back and get it, and that's going to go down as a single for Brian McAuliffe. And McAuliffe, who had a triple back in the 5th, now has a single in the 7th.
Yeah, tough play for Gale. Would have been hard to make a good, clean throw there. We saw his infield's kind of surrendered a few hits while the park's been holding it in today. There's been a lot of high choppers on this infield that people have been able to beat out. Just well placed.
The pitch lays down a bunt is Brad Baldinger. Gloving it is Chandler Dittman. The throw to first is in time for out number 2.
You saw yesterday Nick Strasbaugh had his sacrifice bunt attempt, hugged that first base line. Crushena was able to get to it in time, but kind of had to put a little extra arc on the throw, and that enabled Strasbaugh to beat it out because it was so close to the line. Strasbaugh was such a good runner. Crushena didn't have enough time to step in and get a throw off, and we're going to see the second intentional walk of this game as Walker's going to head down to first. So you're going to intentionally walk Walker, and that's going to bring Farron up to the plate. Lefty-lefty matchup, but interesting decision by Tim Petterini to bring up to the plate now with 2 runners on, arguably the Big Reds' top hitter of this tournament.
Today, he is 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, 2 runs scored. He has been about as locked in as you can get at the plate. And that's saying something in this Big Red lineup. The pitch, missing high, ball 1. Runners on first and second, 2 down. A big chance for Evan Faxon to get out of this inning and give his offense an opportunity to start chipping away at their 4-run deficit.
Yeah, Faxon did his job last inning. Kept the Big Red off the scoreboard, looking to repeat that again.
High fly ball drifting out of play, third base side, evens it out at 1-1. One even in the count on Cam Farron. As we mentioned before, he's been quite dominant since entering this tournament. Entered today hitting .538 with 3 runs batted in on 7 hits.
Looking for his 10th one here already with 2 today. That average has just climbed and climbed.
Pitch will hit the zone on the outside corner for strike 2. Now a 1-2 count on the freshman outfielder. Thing we've also noticed out of these two teams, Kevin, is that the future is bright for both squads, with freshmen really showing up for both teams. Farron going opposite field toward left. Harwood making chase, and it is going to drop just foul of the left field line.
Yeah, Harwood really had to sprint over to that one. Shading, we've seen now Wooster shading. Farron perhaps Pollitt was able to get that one down the line, just foul. You mentioned that, a lot of young guys, a lot of young talent. There's a few seniors for Wooster that are going to be big to replace. So you look at the infield, you have Dittman at third, one of the top utility men in Division III. Sturzma at shortstop, Crum at first, but Wooster has plenty of talent in the wings. You see Chumita earning starts at second, Gabor out and right. Obviously, Max Lawn came up big for departure of Blanchard. You got Farron replacing Tanner Johnson.
Swung on, grounded towards through the right side for a base hit. Rounding third and trying to come home is going to be McAuliffe. And he will dive in safely, and it is a 5-run lead on the RBI single from Cam Farron. And that continues to get his numbers rising. Now 11 hits on the week. 10 hits on the week for Cam Farron.
I will have to see if somebody from the NCAC has the archives of the tournament MVP. Should Denison hold on to win this one? He is currently the front runner. Oh, we got to step off. Faxon did step back off the rubber, unlike what we saw earlier in the game. So we have 1-2-5-3 caught stealing as Walker's going to get tagged out. 1-2-5-3. Faxon alert enough to step off to avoid what Troll had happen. He just balked when he tried to go when Sturzma stole home, and that was Farron trying to get creative and break for second, and Faxon didn't bite on it.
No, that is a big, big play for Wooster, even after giving up the run. Now, getting out of the inning and allowing your offense to go back up and try to go at it again. That's what they plan to do in the top of the 8th when we return from the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament Championship. Top of the 8th, and Henry Hack to return once again for the Big Red relief. And he has been about as spot on as you can get since he entered yesterday afternoon. But now entering in the 6th inning of this one, he's went 3 up, 3 down in both the 6th and the 7th. And now top of the 8th, 7-2 your score in favor of the Big Red. 12 hits, 1 error for Denison, 5 hits, 2 runs, and 1 error for Wooster. That second pitch comes back and evens the count at 1-1. On the top of the order for Wooster and Nick Strasball. Strasball 0 for 3 in this one, a pair of groundouts to third base and a strikeout swinging.
Last one was an absolutely incredible play by McAuliffe. Went to the backhand, had to make a diving stop, got up, plenty of time to throw out Strasbaugh. So we've seen 2 very good defensive third basemen between these two teams, and McAuliffe and Dittman.
Fouled off behind the plate. Sends it to a 1-2 count on Sturzma. Hack digging in. The pitch. And that pitch is going to miss low. Evens it up at 2-2 on Nick Strasball. On deck is Jake Sturzma. In the hole, Dan Harwood. Sturzma actually has 2 of the 5 hits that Wooster has today, and that's going to be a leadoff single for Nick Strasball up the middle. Runner on first, nobody out. And Wooster looking to make something happen here in the top of the 8th.
Yeah, Scots are running out of chances, so it's time to get going for Wooster. And the hottest stick today for the Scots is at the plate, looking to start that trending in the right direction is Jacob Sturzma.
Sturzma, as we alluded to, has a single, a triple, and a run scored today. One of the 2 runs scored for Wooster in this game. That pitch missing outside to Sturzma from Hack for ball 1.
Double barrel action in Denison's bullpen. It's Mikey Rivera and
number 14, Danny Brackman. That pitch will hit the zone on a breaking ball from Hack for strike 1. 1-1 now the count on Sturzma. Rivera and Brackman. Brackman pitched in the second game of this tournament against Allegheny in Denison's win. The pitch swung on, fouled off. First base side, Crescenda making chase. He's almost it's just off the top of his glove.
Yeah, no error on that one, as that was not ordinary effort, even though Crescenda had a shot at it. Glove was fully extended, just out of the reach as it hit off the end of the glove.
That would have been quite the play if he would have been able to come up with that one.
Been another web gem to add to the series of web gems. We can have a Sports Center top 10 just of web gems here at the 2019 NCAC tournament.
Just call John Butchergross up. I'm sure he'll take care of that for us.
Maybe if we're in the OAC, because I believe he's a
Heidelberg alum.
Yes.
2-2 the count on Sturzma. 7-2 your score in favor of the Big Red, top of the 8th. The pitch swung on, laces
That's
it
fair
down the third base line. It's going to go into the corner. Rounding second and going to third is going to be Strasbaugh, and it's going to be a double for Jake Sturzma. Runners now at second and third for Wooster.
Credit Vince Walker there out in left field. Played that kick off the wall perfectly. Good position. It kicked right to him, and that was able to save a run for the Big Red there, as Barry Craddock, third base coach, had to put the brakes on Nick Strasbaugh.
You can imagine if Walker wouldn't have played that the way he did, he was sending Strasbaugh from third and heading home. So that'll bring up the number 3 hitter in the lineup, Dan Harwood. Harwood today has reached on an error. Swung on high, fly ball out of play. And actually, it was his high fly ball down that left field line that was misplayed by Brian McAuliffe that scored the second run of the game for Wooster.
Interesting at a key juncture at this game how close to the bag Max Lawn is playing, as they're still pulled around for Harwood to pull, despite time and time again him this week shooting it the other way.
Sends it up the middle, and a diving grab by Ruggieri. And that would have been through the middle of the field, going to right center. And that would have scored Sturzma, but an amazing diving save from Anthony Ruggieri will save another run. Now it's a 7-3 game, 4-run lead for the Big Red, and Wooster slowly chipping away.
Yeah, now it's Garrett Crum at the plate. He's been a little inconsistent this week, 0 for 3 today. He had the go-ahead sacrifice fly yesterday that did not wind up holding as the go-ahead run. But Crum now at the plate with the key at-bat. Still nobody out here in the top of the 8th, as we're going to have a pitching change.
And Hack's day is done, and it is going to be the number 1 starter for most of the season for Denison, as well as game 2 starter in this tournament, Danny Brackman, entering for the Big Red. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, more information on the new righty for Denison, Danny Brackman. Returning for the top of the 8th, Danny Brackman is now the pitcher for the Big Red. Currently entering with a save opportunity, the senior right-hander, 6 foot 190 from Tampa, Florida. Comes into a big situation. He started game number 2 of this tournament against Allegheny. He got knocked around just a little bit. John Troll came in and was able to get the win in that game, but Brackman has been the guy all season long for Denison. Enters with an 8-2 record and entered the week with the most wins in the conference at 8. First pitch down and away to Garrett Crum. First pitch, ball 1. So 1-0 the count on Garrett Crum. Runners at the corners for Wooster, nobody out. 7-3 is your score. Denison in front. Here at the NCAC Tournament Championship game, the pitch. That one will hit the outside corner, evens it up at 1-1 now. Kevin, that feeling we had all day yesterday up until the eighth inning is right back again. A game that was mostly dominated by Denison really up until this top of the eighth when Wooster making a run at it. Brackman gets his sign. The pitch swung on, high fly ball out of play, right field side. Sends it to a 1-2 count now.
Yeah, Crum's hit the ball in the air all 3 times, a couple of them pretty well struck. There's virtually no wind to speak of. We saw the ball really rolling out of here earlier in this tournament with the wind blowing out heavily, especially the first day, Thursday. But everything's kind of been held in today, so Crum's going to need to adjust his approach a little bit and try to hit it a little more on the line drive if he can.
Brackman comes set, the pitch. Swung on, Crum just gets the end of the bat on it towards center. That's going to drop for a base hit. Rounding second and going to third is going to be Dan Harwood. That will score Jake Sturzma from third, and now a 7-4 game. Still no outs. Runners remain at the corners, and now what entered with a 5-run deficit, now Wooster chips that away to 3.
Yeah, it's exactly the type of swing and at-bat Garrett Crum absolutely needed. He's a guy Tim Petterini wants at the plate in these type of game situations, as is the guy climbing up to the dish right now, Chandler Dittman, so reliable for the Scots. Reddy has a homer in this tournament, looking to cut into this Denison lead even more.
Dittman 0 for 3 in this game. The pitch swung on and missed, strike 1. Very reminiscent of the top of the ninth in yesterday's game when it was the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Denison who had combined to go 0-9 up until that point. Now we're reaching that same point where the middle of the order hasn't been great for Wooster, but they're starting to hit the ball.
Right, and when you see that, that's the type of situation you want. These guys consistently get you at least a hit or so every game or so. And if you see them all not really be off to a hot start come late in the game, you know it's like, okay, they're due. We've got full confidence in these guys. It's go time. They're all veterans. They know what's on the line here. They know very well you don't want to leave your fate in the hands of a committee. You want that guaranteed automatic berth to the championship that goes to the winner of this game.
Dittman swings and misses it 3 straight pitches from Brackman, and now finally it's the first out of the inning for Wooster.
Yeah, Ben Gabor now 1 for 3. He's been a key piece for Tim Petterini. Tim really telling him, calm down, you're a freshman. Take what they give you. Don't try to do too much here. Just try to get it in play, get a run in, get it closer.
1 down. Ben Gabor at the plate, as Kevin just mentioned, a guy that has already hit a grand slam in this tournament. Brackman comes set. Here's the pitch. And that will miss outside, ball 1.
We saw both teams so far today get a little creative on the bases. We'll see if Tim Petterini is willing to roll the dice with Garrett Crum out there at first. We saw that last year in the championship game of the Mid-East Regional Tournament. If memory serves me correct, it was Crum. They had runners on first and third, tried to do the run down until somebody scores, and it wound up being a errant pickoff throw by Wabash.
And that pitch will miss low and away for ball 2.
As I pull up the recap for that, my memory is correct. That is Crum, who started for second. Not the fastest guy on the bases. He's out there at first. Does have above average speed, though, and he's a very smart player.
Brackman, the pitch, missing outside, ball 3.
Of course, we saw Denison maybe think to do something similar just a bit ago, and it backfired as Evan Faxon stepped off the rubber and threw home. Scott's able to capitalize on the rundown situation.
Brackman looks for his sign. He's going to peek over at first and keep an eye on Garrett Crum. Here's the 3-0 from Brackman. Just painting the outside corner for strike one. Good placement by the senior righty, Danny Brackman. Has been the number one guy for head coach Mike Deegan all season long. This is the one you want to go to if you're the Big Red. Brackman, the 3-1. Swung on high, fly ball, drifting out of play. Robinson made enough chase on it, made you think that it could have been.
Right, it had a late break on it. But it did break well foul.
Full count now on Ben Gabor. On deck, Dan Gale. In the hole, Harrison Walls. Big moment for both sides. Pressure being put on right now by Dan Hardwood at third. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Big strikeout for Danny Brackman to sit down Ben Gabor. Back-to-back Ks for Danny Brackman, and runners still at the corners now with 2 outs.
Good location on that pitch, right on the inside corner. Hard's pitch to hit, especially for a freshman who typically isn't accustomed to seeing that the high quality, hasn't had the reps yet with that type of pitch in this type of game situation. We'll obviously learn from that going forward. Now it'll be in the hands of Dan Gale trying to cut into this lead some more.
2 runs already added in the inning by Wooster. It has been the top of the order, and now into the middle of the order that's been doing the damage for the Fighting Scots.
Should this inning continue beyond Gale, Christian Julius has stepped into the on-deck circle as a pinch hitter.
Once again, nailing the part of the bottom part of the zone is Danny Brackman, following suit as Troll and Hack had done all game long with a quick 0-1 count against Dan Gale. Behind the plate, Dan Gale has been as good as you can get for Wooster here in the last few games. The pitch. Right back at it. Same spot for strike 2.
I'd maybe put this one up a few feet, see if Gale chases, and if he doesn't, I'd go right back to that spot if I were Brackman out there.
It has been a spot in the zone that Wooster has not been able to go after. Brackman comes set. The 0-2. Fouls it off. Keeps it at 0-2. As right now Dan Gale gets another chance here in the top of the 8th. This is a big opportunity now for the Wooster Bats, adding 2 runs in the inning already. Now with runners on the corners. Here's the 0-2. Swung on, laces it foul down the third baseline. Keep it alive at 0-2.
We're going to get a pinch runner now for Garrett Crum, as it's going to be Ben Hines coming in to run for Crum. So Crum's day is done. One of the veteran seniors on this team. So Tim Petterini showing a lot of faith in his guys. So there's a good chance that if Wooster were to climb back into this one, take the lead, tie it up, that position in the lineup is probably going to need to make at least one more trip to the dish.
That's absolutely right. We still have the 9th inning to go. Brackman.
Runner goes.
Runner's going to take
That's
off.
Be
it's
going to get
underneath Baldinger. The score from third is going to be Dan Harwood. Hines is going to make his way to second. And just like that, it's a 7-5 game. Still a runner in scoring position for Wooster with a 1-2 count against Dan Gale.
Hines is going to get a stolen base on that. Harwood's going to score on the wild pitch. You knew that was coming as soon as Tim Petterini put the pinch runner in, because why else would you put a speedster in 0-2, 2 outs? Why would you put a guy with speed like Hines in if you weren't going to start him right away? And now it's a 2-run ball game. Both teams digging in, getting creative with how they manage these last late innings.
Swung on, just got a piece of it as Dan Gale to keep it alive. Just when you think you have this game figured out, things just happen. And Denison, which really was in control up until now the 8th. And 3 big runs by the Fighting Scots have made this a ball game to remember here in Chillicothe. Hines takes his lead from second. Brackman comes set. The 1-2. Swung on, grounded
Heads
foul.
up.
Back into the Denison dugout on that third base line.
Everybody's been wide awake in those dugouts. We talked about how close they are to home plate. Not a lot of protection in there, so you really got to be alert, in tune as to what's going on all the time here at VA Memorial Stadium.
1-2 the count on Gale. Brackman comes set. Checks second, the 1-2. Missing high, ball 2.
If I'm Brackman right here, 2-2 count, I'm going right back to where I put those first 2 pitches of that at-bat, right at the bottom of the zone. Consistently called to strike all day. Worcester's watched a lot of those pitches go by, so that's where this pitch probably needs to be.
7-5 is your score. Wooster has added 3 runs in the top of the 8th. A runner in scoring position now with Dan Gale at the plate. Here's the pitch. Swung on, grounded foul once again. And Gale is making Brackman work for it at this point.
This will be the 10th pitch of the at-bat forthcoming. Gale's fouled 5 balls off at this plate appearance.
So Brackman looks for his sign from Baldinger. Comes set. Checks second. The pitch. Swung on, grounded towards short. Glove by Lon. The throw to first is not in time. And diving in head first is going to be Dan Gale, knowing that the season could be on the line at this point, as he fights that one out for an infield single.
Yeah, you saw Lon had to hesitate a second before he was able to get the throw off, and that was the extra half second that Dan Gale needed to get down there to first base and extend this inning. And it's going to be Christian Julius pinch hitting for Harrison Walls.
Assistant coach Ryan Romick now going out to talk to Danny Brackman. 2 outs in the inning. Runners at the corners once again for Wooster. And like you said, Christian Julius will do the pinch hitting opportunity.
Yes, we'll likely see Wooster transition to a 9-man lineup once the top of this inning ends. But for now, Julius is trying to cut even further into the 7-5 deficit. So buckle up, everyone. We've got another exciting game coming down to the wire between Wooster and Denison.
Would it be the NCAC tournament or a Wooster-Denison matchup if it wasn't down to the wire?
No, it's definitely been an exciting year across the conference. A lot of good ball games.
So that brings up Christian Julius. Right-handed batter with the runners at the corners, now 2 down. Brackman, here's the pitch. Swung on, grounded towards short. Glove by Lon. Going to make the throw to first. It's going to be in time for the final out of the inning. Denison still holds the lead as we enter the bottom of the 8th. But the damage has been done by Wooster. They have crawled back now, making it much more interesting as we enter the bottom of the 8th inning. 7-5 is your score. Denison still in front. 22 total hits between the two teams, and we'll be right back here from the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament.
Some confusion here for us up in the booth, but we have it all straightened out now. Christian Julius is going to stay in as the DH, and we've got a reconfiguration for the Scots. Ben Hines, who pitch ran, is out in center. Nick Strasbaugh is going to move over to left, and Dan Harwood is now playing first base. First time in a while that Harwood's played first base, but Curt, it's the tournament. You got to get creative, and you got to figure out a way to keep your guys in there, and the guys you're going to need with those last ups in the 9th inning.
One and two, the count on Anthony Ruggieri. And you're absolutely right, Kevin. When you get to this point in the game, and you know you're going for it, you have to literally play as musical chairs as much as you want.
It was literally almost a scene out of Abbott and Costello with who's on first in between innings. You saw Chandler Dittman out there for a couple seconds. You saw Christian Julius out there. You saw Harwood run off.
High fly ball to right from Ruggieri. Gabor underneath that to make the first out of the inning.
And I thought, okay, well, if Harwood's running off and Julius is playing a position, we're going to lose the DH here. You're going to need your big bats come the 9th inning. And I look up, it's like, okay, well, now it's Harwood's at first base. So the answer to who's on first? Dan Harwood.
Dan Harwood. There's actually an answer.
Yes, there's actually an answer this time.
That pitch from Faxon is going to hit the zone to the top of the order, and Max Lon. Lon was intentionally walked in his last appearance, but he is 2 for 3 with a couple of singles, an RBI, and a run scored.
Yeah, of course, recent rule change. You no longer have to make the pitches. You could just tell the home plate umpire you want to put somebody on. They can go directly to first base.
The 1-1, swung on, fouled back behind the plate, strike 2. Now, if you're Coach Mike Deegan, you're the Big Red, you've got to be thinking, about adding another run in this inning, just trying to keep what momentum Wooster started there in the top of the 8th away, if you're the Big Red. The pitch swung on, fouled back behind the plate once again.
Right, no lead is safe in these type of tournaments. You got to be playing to the last out. Normally, if you saw like a regular season, we saw that big lead Wooster had in the winner's bracket game back on Thursday. Tim Petterini kept his starters in there pretty long because obviously you're in the postseason. Got to make sure you definitely feel good about securing that win. And for Mike Deegan, he wants to make sure his Big Red potentially get another run or two as insurance to move one step closer to securing that.
Absolutely. Now a 2-2 count on Lon. Swung on, high fly ball, drifting right field side. Gabor makes a nice play on that one for out number 2 of the inning.
Yeah, Ben Gabor got a late break on that, but able to come through just enough speed. Good outfielder to get that. The clouds are back. They're kind of the patchy on and off with some blue sky in between. We talked earlier about how perhaps some of the outfielders are having a little bit of difficulty locating it just with the late break they've been getting on some of these fly balls today, and now that's back into play here in the home stretch of this game, Curt.
The pitch from Faxon to Grady Payne is sent through the right side for a 2-out single from Grady Payne. And once again, Grady Payne continues to show off his bat here in the 2019 NCAC Baseball Tournament. That is his 3rd hit of the game.
And he's a big reason the Big Red are ahead in this one. He had a 3-run round tripper in the second, scored the first run of this ball game back in the first. Activity in Wooster's bullpen.
It'll all really come down to see what Faxon can continue to do here in the bottom of the 8th. 7-5 is your score, folks. Denison in front. Robinson going opposite field out to left. Strasbaugh gets under it, makes the grab for out number 3 of the inning. Well, Kevin, it's the top of the 7th. It's a 7-5 game. Worcester's at the plate with their final 3 outs as of now.
Yes, need at least 2 runs to keep this going, so buckle up. Scott's got to the Big Red pitching in the eighth. See if they can carry that over and extend this game.
It will be Danny Brackman on the hill once again for the Big Red. He entered in relief back in the 8th, worked out of a situation, and now enters with a 7-5 lead. This is going to be a big opportunity for Danny Brackman. No changes appeared as of now, but it's going to be interesting to see what head coach Tim Petterini is going to do. We'll be right back. Danny Brackman looking to lock down his 2nd career save. It came in his sophomore campaign with the Big Red. And this could be number 2, a save opportunity, as he will face the 9-1-2 hitters for Wooster. Tyler Chumita will lead off the inning. The pitch, it's going to be right down Broadway for strike 1.
Yeah, Chumita had a nice at-bat in the 3rd, led off that inning with a single. Had a backwards K his last trip up, looking to make up for that here and try to get his club back in position to try to tie or take a lead in this one. But as we saw yesterday, no lead was safe.
Pitch missing high. Ball 2. 7-5 your score. Denison in front. Wooster looking to complete their comeback as they posted 3 runs in the top of the 8th. The number 9 hitter, Chumita, at the plate with a 2-1 count. The pitch. Swung on and missed. 2-2 now the count.
Good heater there by Brackman. Really dialed that one up. 85 on the radar gun.
(7-5) the score. The pitch. Missing outside, now 3-2. Full count on Tyler Chumita. Comes set. The payoff pitch. Swung on, fouled back behind the plate.
Good job by Chumita. That was a heater on the inner part of the plate, able to fight that one off. We saw Ben Gabor was struck out on a pitch similar on the inner part of the plate. Chumita able to extend this at bat as the count holds. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
The pitch. Swung on, fouled back behind the plate once again. Chumita digging in. On deck, Nick Strasbaugh. In the hole, Jake Sturzma. The pitch. High for ball 4, and that is going to send Chumita to first on an inning-opening walk.
Great at-bat by the second baseman. Gets on for the 2nd time today. Turn it over to the big guns and Nick Strasbaugh, Jacob Sturzma. Possibly Dean Harwood as well.
So that brings us back to the top of the order, something that the part of the order for head coach Tim Petterini that did the damage that needed to be done to bring them back into this game, back in the top of the 8th.
Don't forget, should we get to the cleanup spot, it's Ben Hines in the game now. He came in and pinch ran for Garrett Crum, stole second on what wound up also being a wild pitch that enabled a run to score for the Scots last inning.
Here's the pitch. First pitch outside corner. Good pitch from Brackman. 0-1 the count. So far, Nick Strasbaugh has singled and scored in this game. He's 1 for 4.
This could very easily be 2 for 4 if it wasn't for the play of Brian McAuliffe back there in the 5th inning, taking a hit away from the Scots outfielder.
Swung on, fouled back behind the plate for strike number 2. So Strasbaugh looking to keep it alive, now down 0-2 in the count. Brackman looking to record the first out of the inning. For any naysayer out there who thinks baseball just isn't as exciting as other sports, watch this game.
Or yesterday's. Go back and watch yesterday's. You can't get enough of the excitement.
Swung
from
on
today.
and missed at the breaking stuff outside. 3 pitches to strike out Nick Strasbaugh. Pardon me, a couple of foul balls thrown in there as well, but the first out of the inning. So 1 out, runner on first. It was 3 pitches.
Well, Jacob Sturzma now. Should he tie it up with 1 swing of the bat here, he'd have a cycle. He just needs that long ball, and should he get one here, it would tie this one up at 7 in the top of the 9th.
Swung on by Sturzma out of play.
He already has a pair of them this weekend, or this week at VA Memorial Stadium in Chillicothe. That would help put an exclamation point on an absolutely outstanding career for the senior shortstop.
Sturzma looking to keep that career going. 0-1 count against Brackman right now. Here's the pitch. Hits the inside corner for strike 2. A nice placement from the senior righty, Danny Brackman.
Yeah, he's really been in love with that inside corner. As I mentioned a few seconds ago, that's where he got Gabor to strike out swinging last inning at a key point in the game. That was the 2nd out of that inning.
Brackman gets his sign from Baldinger and comes set. The 0-2. Swung on, sent up the middle of the field. Gloved by Lon. The relay to Rouge. If Jiri is in time, the relay to first, also in time, and the Big Red have secured their first NCAC championship in program history with a 7-5 victory that ended on a 6-4-3 double play. And what a turn of events for the Big Red, who allowed 3 runs in the 8th from Wooster and now have totaled their first NCAC championship in the history of Denison.
Yeah, that was a quick turn. Had to be quick on that one. Lon got that out of the glove quickly and cleanly. Ruggieri able to get the throw off in time. Spectacular play all around from the Big Red, and congrats to Denison on winning the NCAC tournament for the first time in program history and securing the automatic berth for the conference to next week's NCAA Division III Championships tournament.
A big win and just a big game all around. Unbelievable performance by both teams making this happen. The fact of Denison coming out of the loser's bracket after losing to Wooster 19-3 on Thursday evening, and then coming back and being able to win both on Friday evening and now Saturday morning to get the win and secure the first NCAC Tournament Championship in program history. Kevin, it has been an absolute blast doing the broadcast with you, sir.
Same with you, Curt.
I very much look forward to it every single year. And ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate all your time and everything that you continue to support with us. Also, once again, I want to give all the credit to the NCAC, Shannon O'Brien, Levi Rex, Kerry Lahovsky. Also, everyone here at VA Memorial Stadium for the Chillicothe Paints. Also, Jason Miller, our statistician, doing a great job. Brent Harris, the SID from Wabash, making sure all this equipment was possible to make this happen. We really appreciate all your support. Thank you so much. We'll now have the award presentation down on the field. And thank you once again, congratulations to Denison on winning the 2019 NCAC Tournament Championship.